or from the same brand, Hot Wheels. Made by Mattel, who obviously have licenses for Star Wars. It's a Hot Wheels series. It's a bit weird that it's been licensed to Mattel, but who knows. So we have artwork from Star Wars Episode 2, Jango Fett, Obi-Wan, Natalie Portman, that man whose name I will confine to the waste bin of history, Yoda, Mace Windu, and so on and so forth. But what's the actual vehicle supposed to be? It looks like a Formula 1 car. I don't recall seeing Formula 1 cars in Star Wars. I saw a few of these, and this was the only one that really struck me as being, something I wouldn't mind buying to show off to people. But just effectively looks like a Formula 1 car. Heavily stylised and hot rodded up and so on. Again, metal constructions, empty cockpits like all of the others. No figure in there to sort of pre-populate, so you can just sort of imagine your driver there. Drives along nicely and can be easily forgotten about. But what has it got to do with Star Wars? Can you recall seeing any vehicles in Star Wars that had wheels on them? And I'm not talking expanded universe, please go away if you're going to bring that up. But it looks alright, it's just doesn't really say Star Wars to me, apart from the fact that it's got Star Wars written on there. Will the focus work? Why does the autofocus never want to work? Maybe I bring it out and bring it in. There we go, just had to bring it in as close as possible to the lens. But the rest of it... Okay, so you've got some bits that look as if they're implying there's supposed to be technology that's far more advanced than what we have. But you're not fooling anyone. So what's next? Well, Matchbox, as far as I'm concerned, have always been the kings of this kind of thing. And here's a selection. Military vehicles in most regards. Tell you what, I sense a jump cut coming up because this is probably going to be a bit of a pain. But as you can see, it's part of a set. There's a surface centre of some sort, and other bits and pieces that are available in various different languages. Well, let's open this up and see what we have here. I can figure out the box. Oh, there we go. Does Prez some of the number and some other number. So there we are, a helicopter. So there we are, a helicopter, an armoured vehicle of some sort, what looks like a desert vehicle that's based on some vehicles from the 1920s or 30s, possibly taken from a gangster movie and then pimped out for the desert. What looks like a Hummer of some sort, possibly with a bit that might open at the back, we'll check that out later. And then this truck type thing. We'll take a look at this one first, because they're all metal. They all certainly look the part. Supplies in the back for what they're going to be doing. All nicely armoured. And of course, Matchbox's logo right at the bottom there. Looks decent enough. It looks like there's a hatch at the top which doesn't actually open. The wheels feel nicer. To my mind, they feel nicer. Phew, there we go. So we'll put that fella there. And we'll pick this fella up. This definitely looks pimped up. It's been obviously raised up to get the best out of the suspension, I assume, but when you look at it like that, it does look like it's going to be tipping downwards a bit. I'll just... No, looking at it at that level, on a flat surface, it does actually sit down the way it's supposed to. Nice bit of detailing in both of them. Not so heavy on the silver as Batman was. That looks far more muted grey plastic in the middle there, and then the moulding there doesn't seem to have actually worked properly. That could be intentional though, to show the age of the vehicle. Hummadime! And am I right about this? Yes, I was. This bit opens up, but not by much, not unless you really force it open. And then you can see in the boot or the trunk or whatever you want to call that, that there's obviously room for supplies. And somebody can sit on the top here and go and play with the gun. Not quite sure how though, because it doesn't really seem to show much of a hatch or anything. Maybe somebody just climbs up on top and just squats down and plays with the gun that way. But overall, looks nice, feels nice. And let's see, will this rotor blade work unlike the bat chopper? Will this rotor blade work unlike the bat chopper? It works perfectly. Looks like a two-man vehicle. I can't really turn this light. You might see better on the big screen, or on a big monitor, or whatever you might be looking at. Mostly metal from the top and then plastic on the bottom, so you've got a bit of give and take every... Oh. Was not expecting that. Was not expecting that. It gets bigger. You can either have a squat version or a tall version. I'm guessing that's just for storage. You would put it away like that for storage and then pull it out like that to actually fly around with it. That does make some sense given what little I know about helicopters. And let's look at this fella. Ooh. Well, the first thing, because I've pretty much felt this first, that is pure plastic, whereas the rest is metal. 606 MB. Looks decent enough. Looks quite nice and stylized. Obviously a driver's door there. Or you would assume a driver's door there, but then the wheel is over here. Plenty of space for the driver to look out that way. Secured door there, I assume. Yeah, it looks nice and secure. So there you go. Batman versus Star Wars versus Matchbox. And as far as styling is concerned, I've got to give the overall nod to Matchbox because they've been more consistent, whereas the Batmobiles in some cases, some can look quite nice but completely wrong, and others can look quite nice and do the job quite nicely. Others have a couple of practicality issues, like these two. I mean, this looks nice, the live Batman thing, but what's the point? And that just isn't to my taste, to be honest. It just looks like Batman's decided to get himself a dragster. And the Star Wars thing, no, I'm just not impressed by that whatsoever. The military vehicles, they look decent enough. But of course, at the end of the day, it just depends on personal preference. If you're wanting to play superhero, you're going to want the Batman stuff, because he's Batman. If you're just wanting to play military, though, then you can certainly do worse than Matchbox. You can't do better than them, because they are Matchbox. And Matchbox rules.